Welcome to Holding Space. Michael Zen is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael Zen.
Yes, here I am holding space, just like the picture. I just wanted to deliver you guys a realistic product from the advertisement. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to my sacred spiral family. Always a pleasure to be here, holding space for you guys, holding space for myself, holding space for amazing guests and amazing moments that we are creating together. I love it. I love this part of my job. But anyway, what's up, me and my shadow? Good to see you. Good to see people always here filling up the front row. I love that. It brings energy to the whole experience. So thank you for bringing you and your shadow. And what's up, Michelle? Good to see you as well. And I see Lunar Sunray out there and Brenda Askew Lucas. What is up? Good. The front row is filling up. I love it. I love it. That means I can get started. I'm excited to be here holding space. I'm excited to be here in general. It was a crazy day, and normally I get home, I get to relax a little bit and space out time in between my stuff, like my day job and my night job and just being. But I'm coming right from a previous event where we were launching this app that I made at work called the Preferred Partners of the Hamptons. It's like an Angie's List, but for the Hamptons. So it's pretty exclusive, and there's not like 20 plumbers on there, and just anybody can sign up. It's two seats per service, right? So plumbers, roofers, all the different services. So it's pretty. Not, I don't want to say elite, that's not the right word, but it's high end. It's preferred, the preferred partners. That's why they're called the Preferred Partners of the Hamptons. So it was an app that I had been working on, so I kind of had to be there for the launch party, but it was really exciting to do that and to see everybody kind of responding to it. The client that I had built it for, was given a good demonstration of the product, and it's just exciting. It's something new for me to be building apps using AI, doing vibe coding, and just kind of exploring parts of me that were there, but I just didn't have the right tools to take them further. And now I do. So I'm excited about that. I know that's a little controversial, different opinions about AI, good, bad, ugly, but I guess that's just a fractal of everything else, right? Everything's got the good side, the bad side, the ugly side, the pretty side. It's all the same. So anyway, here I am again, finding myself babbling on a Tuesday. It is June 2nd. It is time to set the stage, clear out the space of all of the other stuff I was just talking about, my whole day, working hard. Time to relax together, set the intention, and do the 3 breaths together. I have brought my good friend Sage to the show, and we're going to do 3 breaths. I like to do them through my nose. I like to do probably like a count of 3 or 4, and then I hold it up at the top for just a moment, and then I release it. And I think that's the important part, is the release. Just see how my shoulders are going down and my whole body's starting to relax. So we breathe all day long. It keeps us alive, but it's these 3 breaths that we're going to pay attention to and do intentionally. We're going to breathe in and out together. So let's do it. Here we go. Breathe in through the nose. Hold it up at the top for a second, and then let it out. Feel your body relax. Let's do another one in. Hold it up there at the top just for a second. And then release. Feel it go. Let go of anything you don't need. It's all gone. We're ready for a new moment. We're going to bring the new moment into our lungs right now. Feel the air come into your lungs. Feel it fill you up. And then just release. Feel everything settle. Pay attention to your body, to the moment. Breathing is fundamental and fun. Awesome. Let's put Sage down. All right, folks. Are you guys ready? I have a guest who I've seen on the Sacred Spiral Network before. I was teased a little bit. Jennifer Rose said, you got to have Danny Santos on your show. I reached out to him. We spoke. We're both so busy that we kept missing each other. It was like email tag, right? Not like phone tag. But thankfully, Kelly Brickle, who is booking my guest, said, you know what? I got to get these two guys together on the same show. And she made it happen. So I'm super excited for tonight's guest, which is Danny Santos. Welcome to Holding Space, my friend.
Hey, it's so good to be here, Michael. Thank you for having me.
It's great to finally meet you and have you in person, and get to hold some space for you and learn a little bit about you. So that's what I do here. That's what holding space is all about, right? I think we all hold a piece of the puzzle, right? The puzzle is the big picture, the one, the whole thing, and we all hold a piece of it, and we all belong in that picture. And I think we all get a chance to hold up our piece and say, this is where my piece is. Other people get to say, ooh, I like that piece. I think I might fit next to that piece, or maybe I don't like that piece and I'm going to go over here in the puzzle, which is fine too, right? But that's how we find out. So it's awesome. It's good to see Nancy Muratala in the audience,
Shout out to
Jennifer
Nancy
Rose
and Jennifer. I
out
love you
there.
both.
Amazing, amazing sacred spiralers. Kimberly Jones is here too. And I see Sherry Daniels is here. Shared. Thank you, Sherry. Very, very nice. You know what? That's a nice thing that you guys can do just as an observer, as somebody who's here, holding the space with me, is just click the thumbs up or click share or just send it out, and maybe one of your friends will see it and like it too. And that's how we grow. That's how we raise the vibration of the planet. So thank you for sharing. Very much awesome. And Carol Johnson, awesome. Hello from Solvang. Awesome. I love it when people are showing up from all around the world.
Yeah.
Amazing, Danny. So we finally get to meet. You are such a beautiful energy. I love your
Aw.
energy. And it's like, I think the thing for me is when I see an energy like you, it's that it feels so authentic, right? It feels like, you're just being you and unashamed of being you. And I think that's an important, what's the word I'm looking for? That's just something to look up to. I think we all need that, right? As kind of inspiration. That's the word I'm looking for.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
some beautiful feedback. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. No. Listen, I mean, again, that's what's so great about the Sacred Spiral Network. I think we all get to kind of discover other people. They always talk about, your vibe is your tribe and all of those things. And it really is apparent, I think, here. All of the, Nancy and Jennifer are always showing up to other people's shows, even though they have shows, and everybody kind of is here to support each other. I'm waiting for your show. I know you have a podcast of your own, but I'm waiting for your show on Sacred Spiral Network.
Yeah, I do the Astro Daddy podcast on YouTube. So I'm actually streaming the stream right now over there as well. So
Awesome, awesome. So tell me about you, Danny Santos. Tell me about your company, and your name, because I know you've kind of put your name into your company. So I feel like there's got to be some sort of significance to that. Tell me all about it.
okay. Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here today, Michael. Thank you for hosting me and spotlighting me. I mean, it's truly an honor to just be invited on and to share about my work.
My
So
pleasure.
thank you. So I'm a master astrologer of 22 years, and I have been working with astrology. I mean, I'm 33 years old now. I started when I was 11.
Wow.
And astrology has been the framework and the guiding post that I've used my entire life. Oh my gosh, these comments are so nice. um, So I've created my own framework called 12 Steps, 12 Signs, An Astrologer's Guide to Recovery. So it's basically using the 12 signs of the zodiac and teaching people the 12-step framework in a way that's a little bit more inclusive, so we don't have to use words like God or higher power. And instead, we can use the signs of the zodiac as teachers of the virtues, values, and principles of life to live by.
Wow,
So,
that interesting. I love that. There's so much to unpack in just that one
yeah.
little description of what you were
Oh,
talking about. So let me just back up because you said it's a little more inclusive and we don't have to use the words like God.
yeah. So,
Okay.
and I'm writing a book about this. So,
Okay.
for somebody like me who grew up in the Catholic Church, um, I've identified as a gay man pretty much when I came out as 18, but I knew that I was 11 years old that I was gay. And the Catholic Church began, handing out pamphlets when I was in middle school, because I went to Catholic school, that said that if you were gay, you would burn in hell, or that if you believed in astrology or tarot cards, eternal damnation. So all the
Hmm.
facets of my identity were instantly spotlight to make me feel like I'm not worthy and that I'm going to, pay a big price for
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
myself. So your compliment about authenticity and shame really resonates deeply for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
But the idea is people like me, I mean, I'm okay with the word God, but I understand the trauma that a lot of people might feel resistance towards that word. So in the book that I'm writing, 12 Steps, 12 Signs, what I'm doing is talking about how each sign of the zodiac has what's known as the GIQ. So that could be known as the God in question or the graceful intelligence. These are just different words
Hmm.
to
Hmm. Hmm.
expand that word God.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
for example, Michael, what's your birthday? What's your zodiac sign?
I'm 1023, so I am actually on the cusp of Libra and
Libra and
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have one that you identify with more than the other?
I think probably my Scorpio side, my younger life, and maybe as I'm getting older, maybe a little bit more of the Libra side.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we think about Scorpio as the sign, its practice is change. That's the neutral vibration of this sign. So the God in question for Scorpio is actually going to be the ancestors and the darkness and death.
Mm-hmm.
This is God to
Mm-hmm.
a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
So the graceful intelligence, the GIQ, or the godly intelligence of Scorpio, is that they know how to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because most often Scorpios are born into family situations that are traumatic, in which they have to discover their own power by learning to shed the trauma of their ancestors and be rebirthed or reborn into a higher vibration.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting.
So, so
I
that's what
can.
I mean. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I can relate to that. I mean, I feel like I will say that I feel pretty fortunate in the way that I grew up. Yes, my parents were divorced, and I think that was the trauma, right? And
Sure.
and and although I probably still have to go deep to deal with it as trauma, because I mean. I'm pretty grounded. I feel pretty good, right? I don't feel like I have these things that I need to uncover and these parts of myself that I need to dig up. Although I do breath work and I do things where I can feel release happening, right? And it's not even like something I necessarily can identify specifically as trauma, but it is something that I feel I can identify as, okay, my body is releasing this energy and I feel it and I allow it and I accept it, I embrace that release. Um, but I feel like, where was I going with this? I guess looking out at the world, I feel like most people that I know have had some trauma that is more identifiable or for me like deeper, right?
Yeah.
Like I could remember growing up and somebody saying to me at one point, I don't even remember, maybe I was in my teens, somebody saying like, "Oh yeah, everybody goes to jail at one point."
Oh my
And
God.
and
Okay.
and I'm just like, no, like everybody fights, everybody gets in street fights, and I was like, no, like just things that I saw in other families and happening to other people, like I was like, oh my God. And it seemed very commonplace. Family abuse, different kinds of things that happen in families that, again, I feel fortunate. My family, even though my parents were divorced, I grew up with a lot of love. I knew I was loved. So I feel very fortunate. And I feel like that's a part of what allows me to love the way I do. And again, make kind of make that a part of who I am, because I can look and I can see the lack of it in a lot of situations. And I don't remember why I kind of went down that road. But I guess, again, I guess I feel fortunate, and I feel like I know a lot of people like yourself who have a lot of different metaphysical kind of gifts and beliefs that really take them out of the mainstream. Um, I'm kind of in the middle, right? Like I'm in the mainstream. I don't really practice mediumship, although I've had my experiences. I know that if I decided to take an intuitive development class, I could develop those muscles, right? But it's just not something like that's calling to me. Just like some people like to go to the gym and develop their muscles, and other people don't. You know
Sure.
what I mean? So it's kind of the same thing. So for me, I'm finding my place right here in this seat, right? As somebody who can create a safe space for you, a safe space for the audience to come and experience you, and just that's what I'm contributing to the collective, right? And I think a part of that is just knowing that and feeling good about it. And again, I don't know why I started talking about that, because I'm here to talk about you, but something that you said just kind of triggered that whole reaction.
Yeah. Well, and it is holding space, and I'm happy to hold space for you as you're also speaking. This is a collaborative exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So let's go back to you, and um let's talk. Here's a good question. Do you have a specific moment or a memory that you remember that you realized that things weren't kind of what you were being taught in school, or like the mainstream things? There was non-physical aspects to existence.
Interesting. I grew up incredibly sheltered. My parents are both immigrants from Cuba, so there was no alcohol in my house. My parents are both medical doctors, so everything was very organized, detail oriented. They're both Virgos. So I feel like I lived like the most like protected, kind of grounded childhood that there was, not to mention I went
Okay.
to Catholic school on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't see The Wizard of Oz until I was 24 years old. I
Wow.
like didn't really listen to the radio that much or watch a lot of television. So for me, like I was very much like the small town boy next door.
Mm.
And I actually didn't know that I was a psychic medium until I think it was last February when a mentor of mine, her name's Damona Hoffman, gifted me mediumship classes for my birthday.
Wow.
And I studied with Colby Rebel. And after a few rounds of doing classes with her, it was like, oh my God, where has this been my entire life? Like, this is something
Wow.
that I'm really talented at. And like, I didn't even know this was an option or a side of life that was available.
Wow, that's an
So,
interesting story. Yeah, I mean, normally, so you don't really necessarily have a moment that you remember. Like it was only very recently.
well,
Um,
growing up, I used to go ghost hunting with a friend of mine who was a psychic medium when we were in college, and we had some
okay,
supernatural experiences then.
okay,
I remember sleeping in my bed at home, and my great grandmother used to live with us. And after she had passed, I was woken up in the middle of the night giggling to myself, and I was taken to her bed, and I laid down in her bed and woke up in the morning being like, "Oh, I thought that was a dream," or you know,
wow,
a lot of like little experiences like that. But I feel like I was raised in such a muggle environment
Hmm.
That like I just started studying astrology, and that was my connection to the divine.
Okay, okay. And so, how did you come across astrology? How did that come into your life?
My mom very casually said to me when I was 11, she's like, "Oh yeah, you and grandma are both Aquariuses." And I was like, "What is that?" So I like went and Googled it, and turns out she was wrong. I'm a Pisces. And the rest is history. I just started obsessively studying the zodiac, and everywhere I went, from Catholic school to restaurants to hangouts with friends to family, what's your sign? What's your sign? What's your sign? And I wanted
Interesting.
to understand the human psyche so badly.
Interesting. So, but and you felt there was a strong connection between the astrological cycle and somebody's birth date and their personality and their energy.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's a belief that developed at 11 years old, and it's never left me,
Wow.
to the point where I'm at the gym last night and some guy was like, "Guess my sign." And I was like, "You're clearly an Aries." And his jaw just dropped. And the guy behind the counter was like, "How did you know?" And I was like, "I just know." Like, it doesn't
Wow.
always happen, but when I know, I know.
And again, it's interesting that you're talking about that because I'm obviously very fascinated and I resonate with the idea, right, that there's a connection between your energy and the astrological situation at the moment of your birth and all of these things, but and that I can see that if somebody studies that, right, that they can speak that language basically, right? So like reading someone's body language, the fact that he might have just asked you, okay, guess my thing and was aggressive like that, maybe that's a part of, right, being who he is. Um, and I feel like that's information and that's knowledge again that like I don't pursue myself, right? But I'm fascinated by it and I'm sensitive to it, right? So like I tell my audience all the time about being a psychic fetish. I don't have any desire to go to a psychic to get a reading for myself. But if a friend of mine's going to go, I would love to go with them just to be there to experience the reading and experience that exchange, that energetic exchange, because I feel it. I mean, I feel it, and often it's a very emotional, feeling, which I also I rate that emotional reaction to something as a very high vibe, right? You're very sensitive to frequencies at that point. Um, so okay, so you said you started studying astrology, but then you said tarot. So connect the two together for me.
Sure. So I started studying astrology at 11. By the time I was about 18 years old, there was the Michigan Renaissance Festival. I'm from Michigan. And I had this tarot reading. It was my first time getting my cards read by this woman who just like, she read cards, and she was a gypsy at the Renaissance Festival. So I got my reading, and I thought it was like an amazing reading. It really like, changed my life. And I thought to myself, I have to do this. So I
Mhm.
started studying tarot, and I started attending this psychic meditation class. So it was led by two psychic mediums, and the woman who owned the shop was a Wiccan. She was a witch. So she
Mhm.
had black cats, and she's just like a really magical lady. Uh, and from there, that's the tarot really started becoming a major arsenal of my toolkit, to the point where now I teach classes on how to read the tarot. It's called the
Mhm.
Foundations of Tarot. And tarot and astrology are deeply intertwined with each other as well.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, I'm again, I'm fascinated with all of these energetic things, and now I'm also remembering what you said and why I was interested in it, and so I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Um, I want to talk about the word God,
Okay.
because I know for me that there was a significance to my my navigating that word and becoming comfortable with it. I think obviously growing up and hearing different things, and I didn't have a problem with it, but I think as a teen when I started to I wasn't resonating with organized religion because I felt like there was a lot of hypocrisy happening, right? An all loving God, but he's going to punish you, all of these kinds of things, right?
Sure.
Um, and just it didn't make sense to me. So at some point in my head, I just got this idea that when you said the word God, even though it wasn't for me, but the word God represented this thought of this guy with a white beard, and like it was a personified definition of the word God, and it just something about it just really rubbed me the wrong way. So I
Mhm.
had to start substituting universe,
Source.
source, you know what I mean? Like different words. But I found that that really actually brought me back to connect with the word God and be okay with the word God and say, you know what, it doesn't matter what I think other people are thinking when I hear the word. Now, when I hear the word God, I think of all. I think of the one. I think of source. I think of me and you as a part of God. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
And they
A-
say we're all the same consciousness, or we come from the same source, just
yes,
here experiencing itself. So
yes,
the more and the more I bring my own ego down to embrace this way of thinking, it makes me more of a compassionate person, more of a
absolutely.
patient and a kind person. I've certainly had my own ego things of like, I don't want to be part of everything. I want to be my own thing. And
Right.
the more that I keep going, I'm understanding like, well, if we really are all one, like it makes me not want to be mean to anybody, or more patient with everybody.
Sure. Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I love that philosophy, right? If you're being mean to someone, you're being mean to yourself. And I think you could even once you get to that point, you could even feel it, right? Like
Yeah,
I know for me, when I slip or I have my moments of judging somebody, even just thinking something about somebody, I feel it, and I'm like, ooh, I don't really like the way that felt, right? Like, because I put myself in those shoes, right? What if somebody was thinking that about me,
yeah.
or whatever it might be? So the way I like to think about it, and tell me what you think about this, because we did talk a little bit about, you mentioned like plant medicine and stuff like
Mm,
that. I like to think of us, each one of us, as an individual thought of God. Like we
mhm.
are actually a thought that God had, and now we are. Like we just became, right? The thoughts are now vibrations and they exist and are just intermixing with the other thoughts of God and so that's the way I like to look at it. Like we are a thought of
Yeah,
God. And there's different ways to put it. People say we're a spark of God, things like that.
a
But
drop of light in the ocean of
a
light.
drop of light in the ocean, right? And those metaphors I love as well, right? Like the drop that's coming up in the splash of the wave is an individual thing, but it's also it goes back and it becomes part of the ocean. It becomes the one. Um, Amazing. So turning this whole conversation around, you said you were brought up in kind of religious, very conservative
Yeah,
environment. You didn't experience a lot of media. The Wizard of Oz, you said you didn't see that until you were 24 years
24.
old. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And you even said you grew up kind of sheltered. So,
Two doctor parents who like they're Virgos. They're everything's like very detail oriented and very
right.
very realistic, very practical. So
Sure.
it's just it's I look back right now and I'm just like, whoa, that was so interesting.
Well, so I'm imagining you didn't feel like you were sheltered, right? And missing out
No,
on anything.
it just seemed normal,
Right. But
you
then,
know?
so when you saw the Wizard of Oz, did you say, hey, wait a second, I'm missing out on something? Like there's,
Well, I'm very fortunate that I actually got like a pretty formal education on media because I went to film school at USC.
oh, nice.
So I ended up like doing critical theory in cinema and media. So I started learning all of these old movies and, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
I didn't grow up like listening to a lot of music. A lot of the music I discovered I found on my own and
Hmm.
then started writing songs myself. And I mean, I play with a band now. So,
Nice. Nice. What do you play?
so I sing and I play guitar and
Nice.
I write songs. So my band is also called Santos and the Crystal Visions.
Nice.
So the dream is to be touring the world, teaching people about the 12 steps, 12 signs framework, while also getting to play my music. And The idea is to use all of these things in order to bring a greater mission for humanity. So we're actually going to be playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go in December to raise money for the Los Angeles Midnight Mission, which is to feed the homeless here in LA.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That must feel so good. That's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, what better way to stroke
Wow.
the ego than to help other people?
Right. So it's very interesting, right? Because you're talking about letting go of your ego, but now you're telling me about your band, which happens to be named after you.
Well, yeah, of course. It has
Which
to
is
be.
which, listen, I think it's kind of cool. I feel like it's a part of creativity, right? So you're a creative, which I think is probably the most fundamental thing that you can be to be close to God. I think that love is creativity, God is creativity. Um, so, I kind of, and I'm just responding to this because I didn't know anything about this, but I'm not receiving it as like this ego thing. It's almost, I feel like, what is that? What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Ooh, I would say more.
Right? Like that's kind of the feel of the name of what you're creating, which I feel like it's it's noble. Like I feel like there's this mission behind it, right? So tell me more about the 12 step program that you're talking about. 12, what did you
Sure.
say? The 12
12
steps and
steps, 12 signs, and astrologer's guide to
12 step
recovery.
12. Okay. So and tell me if I'm getting too personal, but the 12-step program, I mean, that's usually associated with alcoholism, right?
Sure. Yeah, but there's all
So,
sorts of 12 steps out there.
no,
So,
right, any sort of recovery, addiction,
yeah.
kind of, right.
Well, and you have to
So,
think, my parents were both immigrants who were
mhm,
born in Cuba and came over to the United States.
mhm,
So they're amazing people. They're both doctors, but like, look, nobody's perfect. So the 12
mhm,
step program that I did is called ACA, the Adult Children of Alcoholics or Other Dysfunctional Family Members. So you
mm,
have to imagine, in my bloodline, my great grandmother lived through the Spanish Civil War,
mhm,
and her daughter didn't have enough food. And she and her daughter, my great grandmother and my grandmother, they didn't have enough food to live.
mm,
Meanwhile, my great grandmother, her husband abandoned her, thus, my grandmother, her father abandoned her. So, this abandonment wound begins going down the bloodline.
oof, mhm,
So,
mhm,
even if
mhm,
my parents were never alcoholics, there's trauma that lives in the ancestral lineage. And this would be a Scorpio way of viewing things. It's an inheritance that comes from way
mhm,
before us.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
I'm very fortunate to get this awareness through doing a lot of ayahuasca journeys. I'm also a trained ayahuasca shaman. So,
mhm, mhm.
and I work with plant medicine to help people heal their
Awesome.
trauma that way. But it's this idea that like you have to know all of the parts of yourself, and then you can bring that to the 12-step work. You don't have to be an addict to
Mhm, mhm,
recover.
mhm, mhm,
You
mhm.
know, for me, my biggest wound throughout my whole life has been my ego. And so
Really?
doing, yes, the ego wound, whether it's like being too self-centered and making things about myself too much,
Mhm, mhm,
or completely trying to kill it off and saying being gay is wrong, or
mhm,
I need to
mhm,
completely devote my life to God, when the reality is like the universe wants us to be in balance.
mhm,
So
mhm,
doing the
mhm.
12 steps helped me get my ego under control.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting, interesting. And so, and again, just let me know if I'm being too personal. I'm just kind
You're
of
okay.
reacting to what you're saying.
If you do,
So,
I'll let you know.
yeah, yeah, you said your parents were pretty conservative, you know what I mean, and they were both doctors.
Mhm.
I mean, were they abusive? Was it a toxic relationship? No.
I'm very fortunate to not have had abuse in my home, especially growing up. You know, my
Hmm,
parents are
hmm,
both beautiful and wonderful and lovely people.
hmm,
So
hmm.
I think it's more like the generational kind of trauma and inheritances that people can experience coming from, like I was talking about, abandonment or
Hmm, hmm,
immigration or
hmm.
you know.
So not abusive, but maybe was there, and again, forgive me, um, lack of emotional connection.
Again, I'm very fortunate to have
Okay,
had
no,
like a really good family dynamic, you know. I
right.
think it's just more like literally growing up in the environment where it's like you're the fish out of water. It's an immigrant family, you're
Okay.
different, you know, and then
I
like
guess
acclimating to that.
right. I guess I'm just trying to figure out what led you to the 12 steps.
Sure. For
Yeah,
me, I mean, it's called the adult children of alcoholics
yeah,
or
yeah.
other dysfunctional
Familiar.
family members.
Yeah.
So, so in this program, an adult child is somebody who is not fully acclimated to being a proper member of society in one way or another.
Okay.
So for me, I have a friend who he brought the 12 steps to me and he said, I think you should give this a shot. And what I really like about ACA is you don't have to come necessarily from a dysfunctional home
Hmm.
or I mean, I think the generational bloodline itself reveals enough of dysfunction with the abandonment wound and, eating disorders stuff come from the generational bloodline of not having enough food and, worthlessness, abandonment. All of
Hmm.
that is where the inheritance begins to trickle down. So for me, doing the 12 steps was a way of getting my diet under control,
Hmm.
having a better
Hmm.
relationship with my body, getting out of
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
dysfunctional ego.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
struggled really intensely throughout my life with anorexia and also binge eating. So
Wow.
that's something where I'm at now. I'm training to be a bodybuilder.
Oh, wow.
So it maybe not like super crazy like professional bodybuilder or anything, but
Right, right.
I'm working with a coach and I work out regularly
Yeah,
and
yeah. No,
you
that's
know,
awesome. I'm familiar. I have some friends who have done that just like to experience, right? Like, a friend of mine, she was like in her 30s and she's like, I want to do this as a 30-year-old woman, you know what I mean? And just show I can and just for herself, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
yeah, so I get that. I can totally respect that.
Yeah. So I'm
Uh,
very lucky that like my parents are amazing. They're beautiful
right.
people. They're kind, they're loving. They're still married, which is like very rare
Awesome.
in
Awesome.
modern times. But the generational trauma, it's something that lives in the nervous system,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So the 12 steps gave me the opportunity and the framework to start looking back on my own life and say
Hmm.
like, oh, there are some things that maybe weren't perfect
Hmm.
or some
Hmm.
things that might have got overlooked or
Hmm.
and that's true of any family dynamic.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And listen, I feel like there's a lot of things that go on today with the educational system and different layers that, we encounter that really change us and shape us. And unfortunately, I feel like a lot of that pulls us away from the self, right? And even some religion, I feel like does that, right? Where I feel like once we, like we were talking about being a part of God, right? I think once you kind of can come to terms with that, then you're going to have no choice but to honor yourself in some
Yeah.
way, right? And to love yourself, which again I think is a big key of a lot of people's struggles is they don't even realize that they're not loving themselves. They're just kind of going through the hamster wheel of life, get on in the morning, run it all day, get off at night, and you're not even really paying attention to what's happening.
Yeah. I see Michelle is asking a question here in the comments. Um,
What's up, Michonne?
so should I read it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking for it.
Okay.
I do
So
not see it.
Michelle Olivier wrote, how old were you when you first realized that you were experiencing the world differently than
Oh,
others?
good question.
I don't know if I realized it, but I remember being a little boy. Here's maybe a callback to the question you had earlier for me, Michael.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
remember being in school, in elementary school, and like just looking like at the ceiling, and then it would like turn into a bunch of stars and galaxy and stuff, and I would like
Mm.
kind of leave my body through imagination,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
and like I didn't know that not everybody did that. I truly
Yeah.
feel like my lifetime in this iteration of my soul was like to be the fish out of water character
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
who's like very mystical and magical and grew up in the most, it's almost like Harry Potter.
That's awesome. And you know what? You also bring up something that I think is important to me, right? And that's the word imagination, right?
Yeah.
I feel like imagination is one of the, we talk about we've lost powers, right? Like we used to be psychic and we used to have these powers as humans. Imagination is one of the foundations, I think, of all of that. And I think that's something that needs to be recognized as well, right? Is like let your imagination go, like use your imagination, get into it. And I think that, again, that's one of the things I feel like we're conditioned, right? and you'll hear it all the time. I talk to so many psychics. Oh, I had imaginary friends and they told me, they were my imaginary friends and that it wasn't a good thing, where it's like now it's like, wait a second, those imaginary friends were more real than your real friends, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. I did see, let's make this a little bit more interactive. I did see a
Sure.
lot of people commenting, and I think we didn't talk about it. I usually ask anybody who does readings and stuff if they're up for it during the show. I didn't ask you.
I'm
If
happy to
you
do
are, that's
readings.
okay.
And
But I think
what?
let's do
Wow.
something. I think something a little bit more fun, or not more fun because readings are always fun, but just maybe to help cover a little bit more every people. You are versed in astrology. You have this knowledge. I saw someone asking. I think they were saying, "I'm a Capricorn. Tell me about Capricorn." Can we go
Sure.
through a few different, zodiac signs and describe those people and see who might resonate with that in the audience?
Sure, sure. So, what I like about astrology is that it is a container that holds all of the meaning of life inside of it. So, this GIQ, this God in question, each sign of the zodiac has a different flavor of who's holding the steering wheel, who's pouring from the pitcher, where is the energy going to, where is it coming from,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you can think of like the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. Well, Aries would teach us that I am God. I am God. So
Mm-hmm.
that's step one in the 12-step program. But you don't get to
Mm-hmm.
claim that you're God until you do all of the other 12 steps first, and then you get to be God. But
Okay. Okay.
so
What's the first step?
the first step in the 12-step program is admitting that you're powerless over, and then depending on what kind of 12-step you do, it's going to give you a different version of it. I'm trying to write an inclusive, neutral version of the 12 steps. Let's see if I can pull up what I wrote for Aries here. I'm just checking my notes really quickly. Came to
Cool.
believe, oh wait, no, that's Taurus. So it would be, we admitted we were powerless. What I wrote here was over addiction, dysfunction, trauma, and compulsion. That's more inclusive than any of the other 12 steps that I've heard. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally.
so when we think about Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, it's the ram.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
Mm-hmm.
that energy of getting up and going. Now, somebody asking about Capricorn, Capricorn is the 10th sign of the zodiac. It's our first double digit number in the zodiac, and it's one with a zero. So it's like an
Mm-hmm.
Aries thrown into a time machine.
Mm.
So Aries is literally it's admitting you were powerless. You do it once,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of
Mm-hmm.
did it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Capricorn, it would be like the 10th step, and then I'll bring this back to how it like translates to astrology. But if you
Okay.
check my notes here, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. That's Capricorn.
Mm.
So Aries is you. It's like being able to do something once, and then you're out with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Capricorn is to keep doing something over the span of time. So, in fact, the zero that follows the one in the number 10, or for Capricorn, is going to be the passage of time. That's why
Mm.
Capricorn
Interesting.
rules the archetype of Father Time. So, it's one thing to come out as a gay person. That would be an Aries thing to come out. But to live your life and to keep coming out over time and to do it with integrity and like that's more of a Capricorn thing. It's not just doing something once,
Interesting.
it's living it and to continue doing it and to live by it the right way.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, or like going to the gym once versus doing it over a long period of time.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And is that I don't want to go off track, but is that the significance of the zero modifier?
That's
Like,
my belief. Anytime you
okay.
put zero on the end of the number, what I'm writing about in my book is it makes the value greater.
Okay.
So imagine somebody who's a 1-year old.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine somebody who's a 10-year-old.
Right. Right.
Now try to wrap your mind of a 10-year-old sitting next to someone who is 1,000 years old.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like and a 1,000-year-old, somebody who lived 1,000 years of
Right.
continued existence without dying.
Right. Right. Right.
That zero is a quantifier of wisdom and lived
Interesting.
experience. So Capricorns are typically our older souls of the zodiac.
Mhm.
You know, whereas Aries are going to be a bit of our younger souls. They're more impulsive.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
a Capricorn is they're thinking about the future, they're thinking about time, they're thinking about what's the long run of this? What can I potentially build here that's going to create a lasting existence for the universe?
Hmm. Nice, nice. I love it. Awesome. This is fascinating. I love it. I have I know Kay Weezy is bringing up October 5th. He's a Libra,
Oh, okay. Shall we go into
and
Libra?
yeah, let's hear Libra.
All right, so if we go back to Aries, Aries is the sign of taking action. Libra is the opposite of Aries. So Libra is the
Mm,
sign of balance
mm,
or doing nothing, being patient. Maybe Aries is the sign of doing something for yourself. Like Aries says, I am God. Libra says, my relationships are God. So in the 12-step program, I believe
mm,
the Libra step that I have in my book, uh, let me see if I can quote it off the top of my head. Uh, ask God, humbly ask God to remove your defects of character. So asking for help, you know? So Libras either ask for help or, yeah, humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings, or they're going to help somebody else remove their shortcomings, or it's a sign of being helpful, to be a partner, to be in balance with others.
mm,
Aries says,
mm, mm,
I am God. Libra says, we are God, or you are God to me.
mm, mm. Nice, nice. I love it. So I feel like, what is your thoughts? I mean, are there? I'm imagining there has to be negative traits, right? So a lot of
Oh,
times
yes.
when we talk about something, and I know there's intention behind that, right? We tend to want to talk about all of the positive things, right? And messages a lot of times in tarot cards are positive, but you know, I feel like it wouldn't be the 3D if there weren't lessons to be
If there
learned.
wasn't duality, well, it's interesting you
Yeah, if
use
there
the word
wasn't
lesson.
duality, exactly,
All right, so
exactly.
I'm going to show you this little chart that I made.
Cool. Hold
So
on. Let
sorry
me.
that it's like the light is coming through. I can close my blinds if that's
No, no,
better.
I'm gonna make you bigger. There you go.
All right, so I've created this little flow chart. So this is how I understand each of the signs of the zodiac.
Okay.
So in the center is what I would call the practice or the main virtue of each sign. So
Okay.
we'll use Libra as an example.
Okay.
If we, oh, I am a big fan of Walter Mercado, Angelo. Just throwing it out there. I see him in the comments. Um, so when we think about the practice of Libra, it's going to be balance. So if you are balanced in a good way, you're going to get ascended virtues such as reasoning and clarity, beauty, righteousness, equanimity, being charming. Um, and then the highest vibration of Libra, the lessons are going to be justice, harmony, and understanding.
Mhm, mhm,
But
mhm,
if we are too balanced and we're using balance in the wrong way, we're going to get the shadows of Libra, which are going to be things like helplessness, codependency, confusion,
mhm,
indecisiveness, vanity, body dysmorphia, dissociation. And then we have what's the master teachers. This is going to be the darkest vibration. So the only way to get the lesson is to get schooled by the teacher first.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
So the master teachers of Libra are distortion, abuse, and I have three for each one, and I only have two listed on my notes. Distortion,
Mm.
abuse, probably overthinking is going to be the third one for Libra.
Okay. Okay.
You know, overthinking.
So let me ask you a question because again, I'm a part Libra,
Oh,
and
that's right.
looking at that information that you just gave me, I feel like the shadow part can certainly describe parts of my experience, and I feel like the light part and the master master lesson, right?
Yep, the highest
The
vibration.
master lesson, I feel like that's closer to where I'm at now. And what I'm experiencing, and I'm imagining that it's cyclical, right? So, like, you know, there may be a time where, okay, I've completed that enlightenment. Now I got to kind of go back and start the whole thing over. And K Weezy says we do overthink a lot.
I have
Um,
Jupiter in Libra in my chart, so you know, it's like having when you have Jupiter somewhere, you have the whole sign, the good, the bad, and the ugly in spades. You got the whole
right,
thing.
right. Amazing. So I forgot now. I forgot where I was going with my thought about Libra and that chart. Hold up that chart again. Let me just see that visual again, maybe. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I feel like, I feel like this is like real, like basic knowledge, right? That we should all understand
That's what
as
I'm saying.
a
I
part
get
of
this in
yeah, part of
elementary schools.
our own journey. Yeah, part of our own journey. Hey, this is great. Listen, again, the educational system is in desperate need of new material.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and towards the bottom of this of the shadows here, I have
mhm.
this little SG.
What's that?
So that stands for saving grace. So let's say you are suffocating under the master teachers. So let's say
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
in for Libra, distortion, abuse, and overthinking.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
saving grace is designed to help you as a crowbar get out of the master teacher. And the way that you do that is by taking a page out of the opposite sign of the zodiac's book and then trying to apply it through Libra's framework. So Aries is courageous. The Libra version of courage, the word that I picked at least, is moxie.
Hmm.
So if you're stuck in distortion and abuse and overthinking, moxie is the saving grace that can help you level yourself up to the master lessons.
Interesting. And describe a moxie.
Moxie is,
Define moxie. Yeah.
I mean, when I think of it as like it's another word for being courageous, but it's almost like a feminine form of
Sassy, like a sassy.
yeah, like have some moxie, like put your back
Right.
into it, you know, like
I
go
gotcha. I
for it.
gotcha.
I can pull up the exact definition if that's helpful too. Let's
No,
see.
no, no. I just want to. That's kind of what I thought. I thought sassy and like moxie was like a little style and like, like oomph, little
Determination,
oomph.
courage, and having nerve.
There you go. Nice.
So if you're stuck in the distortion or the abuse of Libra or
Uh-huh.
gaslighting, that's another low vibration of Libra being gaslit. Use some moxie. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
pull yourself
Hmm.
out. Be courageous.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Nice.
now
I
I see a
love
lot
that.
of people asking like about Virgo. I see Taurus here.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the time for me to go through every
Each
single
one.
chart.
No, no, we probably don't. And
But
plus, they've got to read your book.
well, and it's not out yet, but I do have a series on my Astro Daddy YouTube page where I'm doing the 12 steps, 12 signs, and I explain it there. So the only video
Oh,
I have
nice.
out there is Aries. But if you want to learn the 12 steps, 12 sign framework with me, you can also sign up for spiritual life coaching with me. That's something that I offer where people learn astrology while also gaining the tools on how to heal themselves through the 12-step framework.
Awesome. Yeah, actually, that was kind of something I wanted to talk about too. Like, where do people find you? I noticed Kelly jumped in and changed the the banner on the bottom, which was last week from Sylvester Allen, but now we see the cool Santos Crystal Visions
Dot com. Well, it's
dot
not
com
dot com.
dot
It's
com.
just dot com once.
No worries, no worries. I think people will get that. I love that. I think that's cool. Like I said, it makes me think of the Technicolor Dreamcoat. It's like a, and I think that's kind of appropriate to your personality,
Oh, thank you.
which
I,
is
I
which is
mean,
cool.
I'm a big fan of anything Technicolor, I'll tell you that.
Anything Technicolor,
Yeah,
nice.
you should see my wardrobe.
That's awesome. So, all right. So we see your website, and we know you do. You said you do individual healings. You said to me when we started the show, you do a lot of stuff. What else can people find as far as like help from you or advice or entertainment, whatever it
Sure.
might be?
Sure. So I'm a trained platform medium through the Los Angeles Spirit Academy. So I love doing platform mediumship readings in front of audiences. I can also do one-on-one mediumship readings as well. But I really shine in the platform because I love being in front of an audience. So I have a special place in my heart for doing that kind of work.
Cool.
I'm a trained ayahuasca shaman. I lived with the indigenous Shipibo tribe in the summer of 2023, and I fasted for a total of 44 days in the Amazon jungle and really had a very powerful, profound experience. And I was given the blessing from them to begin serving their medicine and practicing their customs. So at this point in time, I'm volunteering with an ayahuasca church here called the Hummingbird Church. And in a few months, I'm probably going to start leading my own ceremonies as well. So
Cool.
that's around the corner for me. Um, I'm a sound healer, so along with singing the indigenous Shipibo Ikaros and the healing medicine songs from the tribe, where you can do soul surgery on people with the voice, I also do crystal singing bowls, sound baths, bells, chimes, flute, all of that, and I play with
Awesome.
my band. And I'm a trained breathwork instructor and Reiki Master. So I also teach people if people want to learn how to do all this stuff too.
Awesome. Awesome. Amazing. And yes, I do. I do want to learn all of this stuff. I think it's amazing. So tell me, before we wrap it up, about your experience. I guess I should have started with this because we could have done the whole show on this, but with the Shabipo, what's the people?
They're the Shipibo.
Shipibo.
There we
Sh
go.
okay. Tell
So
me all about that because I'm fascinated by that as well. I feel like that's, talk about a life-altering experience, right? You're
yeah,
committed to, how long were you there?
I was there for 2 months.
Wow. So
But I
tell us
began
about that.
studying the ayahuasca tradition in 2019. So I used to go up to a teacher's home in Oakland, California, and begin sitting in ceremonies with her. So to
Hmm.
this date, I've done 78 ayahuasca ceremonies.
Wow.
So quite experienced. I've done a lot of medicine work. But you don't even need the ayahuasca to heal people, truly. Like, you can.
I, I'm glad to hear you say that because I am certainly an advocate. I have not experienced ayahuasca myself. I have a lot of really close friends who have. I've heard some incredible experiences. It's something that I'm sure I'll be called to one day, just because I know so many people. But I also do feel like, that's probably why I haven't been called at this point, right? Is like I've been able to find my own connection with source and myself, and I guess it hasn't been like this burning thing, like, oh my God, I need to go do that. I need to go experience that. But I respect all of that. I think there's a lot of ways to open yourself up to the universe, and I think psychedelics are coming to the forefront because they've just been kind of overlooked. I think, I definitely think that there's validity to the psychedelics, and some of the DMT stuff that we're talking about, the laser, Danny, what's his name, Solar, I think Danny Solar, these amazing human experiences that are just kind of changing, expanding the definition of who we are and what we can experience and what we can access. So awesome. That's very exciting. If anyone is interested in any of that stuff, Danny's website is running by the bottom of the screen there. I'm excited to have spoken to you for the last hour and gotten to know a little bit more about you. And you're welcome back anytime. Maybe we can do a show with just some readings. We'll do some tarot cards and stuff like that because I know the Sacred Spiral audience loves that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's
So
a tremendous honor to be here, and I can't thank you enough for inviting me to be on your show and share a little bit more about my story.
awesome, yeah, and I'm sure we've only scratched the surface. So uh, we'll have you back, Danny Santos, for sure.
Ah, thank you. And thank you to everybody who watched today, too.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you for everybody. Thank you, Kay Weezy. Kara Jade says, I've been trying and hoping to connect with any hidden abilities of whatever I'm capable of. And you know what, Kiara, that's all you got to do. You got to just show up to that intention, and it'll happen. I joke oftenly that I'm just waiting to like wake up in the middle of the night and have some sort of entity sitting at the end of my bed saying, "Hey, bud, I'm here finally." you know, and I wouldn't be surprised. I would welcome it, and there you go. Anyway, Danny, again, great to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. It is 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, so it's time for me to start winding down over here on the East Coast. Where are you? You're on the West Coast,
I'm
correct?
in LA, yeah.
Yeah, you're in LA. Cool.
Woo.
Awesome. Well, you got a couple hours still to enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wind down. Thank you guys for being here. Nancy Muratala, thank you. I see you. I see you, Nancy. I see you.
Love you,
Uh,
Nancy.
Ashley Page, I see you as well. Jennifer Rose, Thank you. And Angelo, Danny Goler, not Danny Solar. That's who I was thinking of exactly. The DMT laser guy.
Oh,
Yeah, you haven't heard that about him?
no.
So Danny Goler, just a quick little outro. He discovered that when you shine a laser on the wall, like one of those laser levels almost, and you take DMT, you can look into the laser and see like matrix code, basically.
Whoa.
And this has been repeated by many people. It's like a phenomenon. People are like, okay, this is something. If we're all experiencing the same thing, it's got to be something.
Whoa.
So pretty interesting. Danny Goler is his name. So very cool. I want to send my love to all you guys who showed up and hashtagged lived and did your thing. And we'll see you again here on Holding Space and somewhere hanging around the Sacred Spiral Network. And until next time, peace.
Bye.